are again, Chris Jolly and Bill Rowland.
Hello, everyone.
Bill Rowland, Chris Jolly here. We're back again for another podcast. Good to be with you. It's been a couple weeks. Sorry about that. That's my bad. I've been really busy, but I'm not busy anymore. I've been let go from my job full time. No, I've just been really busy. But we're back. We're here to talk politics, movies, and sports. Bill, we'll start with politics because that's how the website goes, PM&S.com. Politics, what we missed since we've talked to you last was John Boehner said he's getting out.
Right.
Interesting. Kevin McCarthy, the guy who is a de facto replacement, he's a kind of an interesting guy. He's kind of an establishment guy with a couple, tepid little toes in the Tea Party pool. Mm-hmm. But he was definitely going to be the replacement until
he opened his mouth.
Until he opened his mouth,
right.
Yeah, gave Hillary Clinton the opening over the Benghazi thing. If you missed it, basically what the guy said was he kind of in a bragging way said, we're not doing anything. We've knocked down Hillary Clinton's poll numbers without exactly getting into what he said. That's basically what he said. That immediately, obviously, gave Hillary Clinton and the Democrats a big opening to say, see, everything they're coming at us with is political. It's not our fault. It's just the other party.
Right.
And the Republicans everywhere were like, Jesus, this guy made a boner
right.
when he's not even the guy yet. So so you got a couple other guys running. I think Webster and a guy named Jason Chavez from Utah. Chavez, I think. I don't know how you pronounce it. And Chavez is a Tea Party guy.
Was it Trey Gowdy that's out there running around?
Gowdy was the second. He was up for the second position in the House, but I think he backed out. He's the chairman of the Benghazi committee.
He's still hammering this idea that it isn't about the political points or anything, and I believe he came out actually earlier today and talked about how they have all these other documents and emails for Benghazi, and less than 10% of them have anything to do with Hillary Clinton. So his point is, look, this isn't about Clinton.
Right.
This is about Benghazi. She's a small part of it. At least that's what Gowdy's trying to get.
And that continues.
Right.
His work continues with that. But now we have Hillary 2.0 based off of this. We'll see what happens with the House thing. It's interesting to see because the Republican... Again, dilemma is how far right do they go? Do they confront Obama? Do they do things like, do they shut down the government when they're going to take probably the slight majority of the blame most of the time? So that's an ongoing fight in the Republican Party. We'll look at that. It's interesting. Boehner, I put up on the article, I hate to say it. How can you not look at that guy and just kind of cough? Pussy! When he gives an interview. You hate to say it.
But that's the whole problem that they've had.
Right.
Is you've got all these firebrands that are winning elections at the local level and getting themselves to Washington. And then when they get to Washington, you got the establishment, as they like to call them, basically neutering these guys and saying, well, great, I'm glad you're here. That's not the way we do things. Now you go sit down over there and good job. And the people that just want like, wait a minute, no, I was sitting here to change things. You're not letting me do this.
Yeah, it's a big dilemma. And the Republicans, one of the reasons they won in 2014 is because they were able to get more establishment candidates out for the Senate. So you see what they're doing on one side. On the other hand, you completely understand this side they're like, we didn't come here to just join the establishment.
Right.
We ran against the establishment.
Yeah, John Boehner. So
so it's interesting to see what'll happen. But Boehner, God, I just looked at it last. Boehner gave an interview on Face the Nation a couple Sundays ago, and just the tearful every time. It's just like that guy. Right. It's like and it's great that he shows emotion. It's great that he cares. I believe he's a great guy. He cares about what he's doing, whatever. He just comes across as such a...
Well, he's been wildly inefficient depending on which side of the aisle that you're on or what you want done. And
if you're a quarterback in the huddle, you're like, guys, I just want to tell you now.
Exactly.
Well, we have 30 seconds, Can you design a play right now? So anyway, bye-bye John Boehner. Thank you for your service. But now let's talk about Hillary 2.0,
Right.
which is kind of coincided with this in a way. Well, they were for the last few months, and with obvious reason, the Clinton people are like, okay, we gotta try again.
Reboot. I mean, you say 2.0. I mean, I almost
Well,
want
5.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're gonna go back years, you could go 7.0 since Hillary came. I mean, but you know, you could understand it obviously. The Hillary,
Sure.
It's one of the worst campaign rollouts I'd ever seen in my life for president.
Oh,
Bar none. I mean, such a spectacular favorite that's come down to this level. It hasn't even all been the email thing. It's just she's come across as just an aloof, not caring. She hasn't given entitlement.
Right.
Hasn't given many interviews. When she did, they were staged softball interviews, and just came across as not authentic. In contrast to whatever you think of Bernie Sanders, what he's saying,
right?
He's authentic as it gets. I mean, he'll tell you what he is, right out there. So Clinton is reinventing herself, and this Benghazi thing gave her a window to be fiery Hillary, isn't going to take it anymore. I'm a victim of these big bad Republicans. You don't have to say vast right-wing conspiracy, but that's what they're doing. She's not using the same language, but she's like, I'm not going to take it. This is ridiculous. I'm not sitting down. She's even gone as far as gun control. She's like, you know what? We're not going to take it. We're going to, I forget what she said to gun control. It's actually education that she goes, college should be, nobody should have to borrow 1 cent for anything for college.
Hello, Bernie.
Well, that's great. Yeah, she's running to the left. She's gone to the left, which is normal. That's part of the process in the primaries. But she's reinvented herself as sit down, fiery, in your face. Will it work? I mean, it'll work in some. The Democratic base will appreciate it.
Of course.
Because, it's like, the enemy's out there. It's not in here.
Right.
It's an open question whether anybody else will believe it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody crushed Mitt Romney, what was it, 12, I guess it was, when he said, look, 46, 45, whatever the number
47%.
was. Yeah, 47% of the people will not vote for me. Well, he's right.
He is right.
Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, maybe not as much, Joe Biden, are going to get somewhere between 44 and 47% of the vote. Period. End of story. They wouldn't even have to run. They wouldn't even have to show up. They wouldn't have to put out an ad.
Right.
And they would get 44 to 47% of the vote.
Right. And
that's how it works.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because it comes in the comments Jeb Bush made this week, which is, they want free stuff. The Democrats are giving up free stuff, and that was basically the crux of what Mitt Romney was saying. He's saying 47% will vote for the Democrats because they just give out free stuff. Jeb Bush,
or because they're always going to, even if they
too.
don't. Again, I don't even think the Democrats have to say anything. They don't even have to give away free stuff. On the other side, I feel the same way. That the Republicans won't even have to say, "I'm going to cut taxes." Or they don't have to say anything, and there'll be 45% of people go, "Well, I'm going to vote for them because I always vote for them."
Yeah,
it's the middle 10% that shift back and forth that win elections.
Yeah,
so I don't think what Romney said was wrong. I don't think what Jeb Bush said was wrong. But let's be honest, the Democrats could say the same thing about the Republicans. They could sit there and say, it doesn't matter. I can tell you over and over again that I want to do this, this, and this for gun control, student loans, et cetera, and the 45% of the people over there, it won't matter what I say, they're not going to vote for me. And they'd be right.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Well, a lot going on in politics right now. We got the first Democratic debate a week from yesterday.
Which is going to be interesting because there was an article in Salon. I think it came out either Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. I don't remember which day it was. Basically, talking about Joe Biden, whether or not he's going to run. And have come out and said, well, he's not a very good... I apologize, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know the exact quote. But it was kind of questioning his feminist chops on whether or not he'd be good for feminism, a Biden presidency.
Right.
Because he's come out and said, I have a very strong Catholic faith.
Right.
I don't think that abortion is right.
Right.
But I won't let it affect my policy making. So they all freaked out and said, forget it, Biden's not a feminist. Now, I don't know where Salon sits as far as the Hillary versus Biden fight. So maybe this is let's see if we can label Biden as anti-feminist to help Hillary's camp in getting the nomination. I don't know.
I don't know any
But
ulterior motives.
Fascinating to see them go after Biden. And as I heard another commentator say, wow, the war on women is now in the Democrat Party.
Well, historically, Joe Biden was one of the first. I don't know if the article mentions this. He was one of the guys that was there with Anita Hill as some of the evil white men, supposedly, that were torturing Anita Hill with these questions on the Hill. And of course, Mr. Biden has a, let's say, history of, unwelcome.
He does love the back massage.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So I mean, it is an interesting angle.
Yeah.
So and the thing about the Democratic Party, which has always been interesting, is the many factions. While the Republican main faction right now might run a little deeper, the many camps of the Democratic Party, it's always a challenge. Usually with unions and environmental, that's the big one. To weld all this together, it'll be interesting to see who can do it.
And I think that it will start next week, and you get the debate. I mean, who are we going to see? We're going to see Hillary.
Yep.
Bernie.
Yep.
Who else?
The cardboard cutout of Biden.
I was going to say Biden.
Well, that's the other question. Is there a Carly among the Democrats? I don't think so.
No, I mean, Elizabeth Warren isn't going to be there.
No, I mean, Webb is too conservative, I think, for the Democratic Party right now. O'Malley has charisma. It's possible O'Malley could pull a Carly and rock it in the polls. I don't see it. Lincoln Chafee? No. I mean, but it'll be interesting to see. And the Democrats will be happy to at least start getting their message out a little better, because the Republicans have had all the airtime.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll move on. Let's move on to movies. It's I've said this over and over. It's been a great fall for movies so far. I was confirmed right. I went to the movies this weekend. I saw 3 movies. I didn't see all of Sicario because I wasn't supposed to be in there, and I snuck in, and I think the ushers were wise to me. So I left in the middle of Sicario because they were like, I thought I sold that guy a ticket like 4 hours ago, which they did. So I left. Sicario, good movie, by the way, though. I was very into it.
Kick me out.
Well,
made the ushers come kick me out.
Well, I was supposed to be getting home anyway, so I had seen a lot of movies all without my wife this weekend, so it was about time to get home. But good movies out there. It started very strong. The Martian did really good business. The hurricane this weekend on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry, the hurricane.
The weather event.
Yeah, the weather event. I read articles that were saying, the hurricane might even bite into the Martians' business. Well, that's ridiculous, because it wasn't that bad pretty much anywhere. Everybody went out, and it was a rainy weekend, so everybody went to the movies. I went to see The Martian. The theater was packed with people. And it's a very good movie. It's a very good movie.
So you were suspect on that, too. You weren't
right,
sure on
right,
it.
Right. In the last, I wasn't sold on it. I mean, I've seen kind of versions of it before. It's kind of a, what's the movie with Hanks and his volleyball that's escaping me right now? Marooned, what is it? God!
I know which one. Everybody knows which one you're talking about.
Oh, everybody knows.
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson, the volleyball. I can't believe I can't give you the name of the movie.
Castaway.
Thank you. Jeez. Castaway. Kind of a Castaway meets
Mars.
Gravity. Kind of in Gravity. If you've
Interstellar.
seen that. Yeah, I guess. Rescue Matt Damon kind of deal.
Right.
Castaway meets Gravity, where everything that could happen bad to Sandra Bullock in space now happens to Matt Damon on Mars. That place is a death trap, by the way. By the way, I was going to look this up on the internet and find an explanation for this. Maybe you could help me. Everybody's like, hey, we're going to Mars. There's a little water on Mars. Let's go colonize Mars, which is a death trap, by the way. People are they're like...
It's not going to happen in our life.
Well, they say 2023 for this private mission. They're all going to die if they do it. Number one. Number two, why aren't we looking to do a moon base before we
There's
go
no
to
water
Mars?
on the moon.
Well, yeah, but, I mean...
That's
not the only problem.
It's
like, I'm kind of not feeling that.
I don't know why you'd want to go.
I'll do some scientific research before the next podcast, but I have no idea. But The Martian is a good movie. It's funny. Matt Damon I mean, he
It's
does
not billed as a comedy, though, right? I mean,
no, but it's like a dry in the vein of, oh, good, look what's happening to me now kind of deal. He has a line where he's like looking at the camera because he's doing a video log, like, you know, day
kind of like this.
A lot like this. Day 128. This kind of sucks, you know.
Right.
I'm still on Mars. No, but he's like, I'm going to sprinkle some Vicodin on my potato, and you can't do anything about it.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. It's pretty good, though, but the book, I've heard, is very scientific, very science-oriented. Ridley Scott, who directed it, he's done some masterpieces. Right. Alien, Gladiator. He's done, I didn't silence my cell phone. Damn me. See, we can do this because it's a podcast. That's my wife. She can wait.
Perhaps you should take that call.
Talking about movies now, you know. Anyway, Ridley Scott, Sir Ridley Scott, I believe. Alien, Gladiator, great movies. To me, he's done just poor movies lately. There's a movie called The Counselor that came out a couple years ago.
Never saw it.
Horrible. I walked out of the theater. Horrible movie. He did that. Prometheus, which was kind of the Alien prequel. Yeah, that to me, that was a bomb. I mean, it made money in the theater, but it didn't make sense.
Gotcha.
So this guy, he's one of the great movie makers of all time. He did a great job, and I talk about this on the website all the time, how it's hard to adapt a book into a good movie. Sure. You know, there are Cloud Atlas, movies like that from 500-page books. This wasn't that big, but he does a really good job of making it a little sciencey, but not going overboard with the science. And it's a good movie.
Nice.
I recommend it highly. Also saw The Walk. Yeah.
Tremendous reviews on that. People are very excited about it.
People are loving it. It's a good movie. It's a biography, basically, of this guy, Philippe, from France.
Yep.
Who came over,
right?
I think that's correct. Yes, he came over from France to put a wire between the Twin Towers in New York, and you could only see it in IMAX. I saw it in 3D. Didn't find the 3D all that necessary. Okay. Added to the effect, but IMAX, you know, with the sound, so you could only see it in a few theaters. Not many people saw it. It only made just under $2 million this weekend.
Do you know what the per screen average was?
It wasn't very good.
Wow, okay.
It wasn't very good.
I think this is one of those that's going to build.
Yeah,
because maybe. I think it's getting a lot of buzz. I think people are talking about it. People that have seen it really enjoyed it. I think this one will build. I'm not going to say it's going to stay at number one for a few weeks. I mean, never at number one, but I bet it ends up doing a pretty good number when it's all said and done.
Okay.
I think everybody's just talking about it. Talking about how good it is.
Well, we'll see. It's a good movie. I wouldn't give it an A or anything. I give it a B+. It's a very interesting movie. The scenes on the towers are just... it's crazy how the human mind works. And I relate this to sports. You know, when you're in a big game, if you've ever been an athlete in a big game, and you're in the moment, and you know where you are, but you don't know where you are.
Right.
And that's what you have to do, obviously. If you're walking a wire in that situation, you're not there. In your mind, you're just doing what you've been doing over a little park in the trees. You're in the movie theater, and you're like, when they get close to the edge, when they're hiding in places to get away from the security guard, right near the edge and things like that, you know you're in a movie theater. Your mind is still like, like you're back in your seat going,
Right.
Yeah, so you say you've heard of people throwing up.
Yeah, there are reports that some people that are getting the vertigo and getting sick from the high shots. I don't know if it was the 3D like you saw it, and if it was just the regular. But yeah, there were some people that just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it is. Put it this way, I'm not particularly scared of heights. It got me a little.
There you go.
You know, until my mind had to settle it down. It's like your subconscious jumps out and goes, "Oh God," and you're like, "Wait, I'm in a movie." Right, but it takes about a second before your mind settles you down.
Sure.
So good movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt stars in it. Very good movie. Robert Zemeckis is the director. He's done everything from Who Framed Roger Rabbit to what are some of the Zemeckis big ones? Probably Castaway.
I don't know.
He's done a million big ones. He did Flight recently, which is a good movie with Denzel Washington. But it continues this weekend. The big movie coming out, but only in New York and LA.
Of course.
This is the irritating time of year when they'll come out with a movie, and then the rest of the country won't get to see it for another month.
Right.
Steve, I think his name is Jobs.
Oh, is that limited release?
Jobs?
It feels like they're
Jobs, yeah.
It feels like they're releasing it on video on demand because it's like in my house every single commercial break. It's nuts.
Crazy. I mean, they're doing that. That's what I don't get too. They do the ad blitz well in advance. I mean, I'm not going to drive to New York to see it. That's for sure.
I'm not going to drive to wherever.
Yeah. I'm not going to.
Doesn't matter. I'm not going to go to Fairfax. Or wherever.
There you go. But it's coming out New York and LA this weekend, and then
is this like the third one?
Yes, it is.
I'm tired of it. I don't care. I care so little about Steve Jobs.
He was a visionary.
Whatever. He worked at Atari at one point as well. No one ever talks about that. Yeah, Jobs worked at Atari. He did some video games.
Atari. I thought you said Target.
No, Atari.
Like really?
He worked at Atari in the early '80s when Atari was around.
Nice.
No one ever talks about that part of it. It's it's Apple. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Don't care.
So you're glad he's dead?
I didn't say that. I mean, I just don't care. I don't need 3 movies about his life.
Yeah, I understand.
Although they do.
And the other ones weren't good though. That's the thing. This is from Sorkin, who does pretty good work.
Right, and this is the one that's
so they're hoping this is going to be finally the one that's good.
Well, and they're hoping that this one is actually the truth.
Right.
But apparently, it must have done something right because people are pissed how it portrays him. Mm-hmm. Everything I've ever heard about the guy was that he was a jerk.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
And everybody's like, oh no, he's Steve Jobs. He gave us the iPhone. Doesn't mean he wasn't a jerk. Yeah. A lot of famous people have done a lot of wonderful things. Doesn't mean they weren't jerks.
Yeah. So. And I've seen the other 2 movies that came out about him, and they were nothing special.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is good. I won't rush out to see it, but I'll see it. And the big one, which we've discussed on other podcasts, is Pan. Mm-hmm. That comes out this weekend. I'm sure that'll do pretty good business.
I bet the people who are putting Pan out, and it's a little bit different, but I bet they are really excited because Transylvania Hotel 2 kicked ass. And you very rarely see a kids movie come out in the fall like this. They took a chance and it worked out. I think they were number 1 the last couple of weeks at the box office. I know they were the
Martian beat them, this week. But,
so whether they were second or third this week.
Second this week.
That's huge for a kids movie being released in September. Well. That's big.
Adam Sandler's still doing well. That's doing well. So, that's good. I think it'll do great business because as we discussed prior on one of these podcasts, there's a Hook. I mean, people love Hook. People still love Peter Pan. I mean, it's got a great following. On the kids' networks, the Disney Network and all of this, they play animated series. So it's going to have a strong following. It's going to do well. Special effects look good.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's in it. Loves to dance and sing. So we'll see how it goes.
Be huge.
All right. Well, we'll report back on that in a week or 2. Let's move on to sports. It is finally time to talk about the baseball playoffs. And New York Yankees, we hardly knew you.
Yeah.
Good try. Did you watch some of that? I
did. Of it. Yeah, I did. I wanted to see how the Houston pitcher would do on 3 days rest.
Yeah, he looked good.
And he 6 innings.
He was a little wild early. Well, wild. When I say wild for him, that means not that wild, but he looked great.
He was great. 6 innings. They turned over the bullpen. Bullpen didn't go up a hit over the last 3.
That's a question mark with them. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent... They have a decent pen. I think they'll be okay. But now they have to go take on Kansas City. Right. I think that's going to be a problem.
Right.
I think the Royals end up taking them out. But I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. I think it's going to be great games, but I think Kansas City's a little bit better than they are.
Well, let's talk about the AL in general. Do you think Kansas City, they sure look like the team of destiny, one of those teams that comes up short than one year, and then the next year that builds them for what they have to do.
Well, the only thing that I worry about Kansas City is the injuries in the bullpen. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with no Greg Holland now, since he had the elbow surgery.
Wade Davis now, the closer.
Which is fine. Davis is fantastic, but that just means that Davis, who controlled the 8th, now controls the 9th, and now somebody else has to control the 8th.
Yeah.
Which means somebody else has to, and so
they do have some horses.
They do
in the bullpen,
but it still sets everybody back an inning. So you got to hope that your starters can be a little bit better or go a little bit longer. And I worry about how much. And I know he won't pitch game 1 or game 2. I worry about what Johnny Cueto is going to give them.
He's pitching game 2, actually.
Oh, he is going to go game 2. Yeah. To me, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah. Well, he's been terrible since
and that's the problem.
4-7, I think, 4.75 ERA since he arrived from Cincinnati.
You almost feel like, is he one of these guys that is a National League pitcher that extra bat in the lineup 2 or 3 times wears him down, and all of a sudden, you get to the bottom of the National League lineup. Where usually, let's be honest, in the National League, your 7, 8, 9 hitters are not good for the most part.
Right.
The American League, the lineups that he's going to be facing, especially if they have to take on Toronto, there are no breaks.
Yeah.
He could be a real problem for them in the playoffs.
All right, let's talk, and I kind of agree with you. I think Houston will give them a nice game series, to be honest. I think it probably will go 5 games.
Could,
based on the fact that Cueto is a little dubious.
Yep.
So all they need to do is steal 1 in Kansas City, come home for Dallas, in game 3, win that. So I think they're probably going to take it to at least 5 games.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but I think you're probably right. I think Kansas City's experience, I think they can, eke it out. Texas and Toronto. Texas is red hot. Toronto's got that lineup. Can either of them take down Kansas City? And who does?
I think Toronto wins this series between them and Texas because, as odd as this sounds, I think their pitching's a little bit better.
Toronto's.
Yeah, I think Toronto's pitching ultimately will end up being a little bit better. I like Marco Estrada there. I think even R.A. Dickey, if he can give you 5-6 innings, you turn over the bullpen at that point. The problem is if Dickey, just like any knuckleballer, you start getting into the colder weather, they'd be better off pitching him there at this former Sky Dome, Rogers, whatever they're calling it now.
I'll call it Sky Dome.
Yeah, exactly. They're better off pitching him there than maybe trying to take him down to Texas, depending on what the weather forecast is. I know you can't set your rotation up that way, but you got to think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What is it? You're a knuckleballer.
Yeah, well, I mean...
What is the MO on that?
Well, the thing is, you'd like that thicker air means better movement. So if you get a nice humid day, you're going to get a little bit more movement out of it. If you don't, and I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Texas next week, but if you get nice, cool, crisp, dry air, ball's not going to move as much because there's not as much air to push against it to move it. That's why knuckleballers in Colorado get shelled constantly because no movement.
Yeah, Dickey is scheduled for Game 4, I believe, in Texas as things stand now. Now that can be changed.
Well, it could, but I don't know what I would. They'll take the chance. That's getting very nitpicky. But if he gets shelled in Texas in Game 4, there may be something too. You got to watch and see what the weather's like. If it's a crisp, cool evening there and there's not a lot of humidity, he could get lit up.
Well, this could be, and I'll tell you, I look at the AL and I go, I don't see necessarily enough starting pitching either way. You said you like Estrada.
I do.
Estrada. I like him too. I do too. I like him in Game 3. But if you think about it, this was the number 5 pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers last year.
Sure.
He's not a dominant pitcher. But I look down Texas and Toronto, and I kind of am worried about, a lot of their pitching.
Sure. Beyond
David Price. Even Gallardo going number 1 for Texas tends to be really hot or really cold. So I don't know. The way Texas is hitting now, this could be a high-scoring series. I don't know.
But you get Price in 1 and 5. And
that
to me is going to be enough.
I agree. Yeah. And that's why I'll take Toronto's lineup to advance. Yep. I think they may be my World Series team this year.
Would be surprised.
I'm just worried about Kansas City. My brain says Toronto. My heart says Kansas City.
Sure.
So...
But the problem is, I don't think either one of them end up winning the World Series.
Yeah, I don't like the AL
I don't either.
It boils down to pitching this year, I think. I'm not sure, but
sure.
Can you imagine going up against Kershaw and Greinke?
Well, that's the interesting thing is, can the Dodgers?
Yeah, well, can they even advance? That'd be another team.
Because Kershaw 0-4 with a 70 ERA the last 4 starts in the postseason.
Right.
You don't expect it to continue, but that's odd. 1 or 2 times you go, well, it is what it is. But now you got a trend. It's been 4 starts where he just hasn't been good.
Yeah.
But he's backed up by Greinke this year, and the Mets stumbled through September. They did everything to keep the Nationals in the race, and the Nationals couldn't take advantage of it. I don't like the way they're playing going into the playoffs. I think the Dodgers end up, quite honestly, I think the Dodgers may sweep them in 3.
Okay, well, let's talk about the NL.
Sure.
All right, I like the pitching in the NL. The thing is, we're making this the day of the NL wild card.
Right.
So I know Bill likes the Cubs to maybe go pretty far.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly no one's going to be surprised. The Cubs and the Pirates are in the wild card game tonight. They had the second and third best records in the NL.
That's amazing.
That
division almost had 300-game wins.
Yeah, and as a reward, the winner of that game, which will be a killer game tonight, Arrieta at Cole.
Yep.
So, I mean, who knows what will happen to that. Gets the St. Louis Cardinals right off, while the Mets and the Dodgers are like, oh, thank God. One of us will make it. We'll play each other. There's no guarantee any of us are that good even. Not a lot of playoff experience in the lineups up and down there. My first impression is I'm afraid to pick a wild card because I don't know who the wild card is going to be.
Right.
It could be either one of those very good teams. I tend to somehow just think the Cubs are going to pull it out tonight. But Cole has more wins against the Cubs than any other team. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to refrain. I'm going to be a coward. But I'll tell you this, I like that wild card team even over the Cardinals.
There you go. I was going to say, it may sound like we're hedging, but I'll tell you,
we're definitely hedging.
Whoever wins tonight beats the Cardinals.
Yeah, I would
either one of them take the Cardinals out.
I like it as just a warm-up. Whoever wins to just warm up, get into the mindset of playoff baseball.
Yep.
I mean, the Cardinals are the consummate veterans, though, but they've got some injuries, too. I mean, Molina's going to play. Supposedly,
with a bandage on his hand.
Yeah, I mean it's just
banged up.
I don't know if I feel their mojo this year, but
I don't. I like the Cubs tonight behind Arrieta. I like the Cubs to take out the Cardinals.
All right.
And then so I think it's going to be Cubs, Dodgers, and then I'm really torn because I still feel like the Cubs are a year away. Like I think the Cubs are going to be a problem in the National League for the next few years.
Yeah,
a real problem.
Certainly.
But I don't know if this can be that year.
Yeah.
Because if the Dodgers get him in 7, I don't know. Even with Arrieta, I don't know.
Yeah.
If Kershaw and Greinke get that far, all of a sudden, they're pitching 4 of those 7 games. That's real
It's
tough.
a lot. It's tough. They're going to be stretched out, maybe. So we'll see with that. I am going to, if the Cubs advance, I don't think I can take the frickin' ESPN specials and all that. I can't. I've already seen a ton of them. I've already seen Belushi's kid brother talking about the Cubs, and I'm a Cubs fan, but I'm also a Bears fan. But they're bad right now. We're gonna see all the Chicago. Yeah, I mean he's the only one I don't mind seeing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see these people over and over again talking about the Cubs.
The Billy Goat curse.
My God. I don't think I can even make it. So I'm going to hope the Pirates win tonight so I don't have to deal with that.
Here's the question, though. Would you rather just have them win and then it be over with?
The Cubs?
Yeah, so we don't have to hear about,
it would be
1903 again or whatever it was. However long it's been.
It's almost like I'd just rather I die before it happens.
I mean, that's
a great
the question. Do you want it
I want it to keep going because I firmly believe it can happen for the rest of my life.
All right.
You're right, though. But you know what?
I
think they're going to trot out those assholes no matter what every time the Cubs make the playoffs.
Oh, of course.
I'm going to have to see them anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't you rather just be
I'm going to have to see Belushi.
No.
I'm going to have to see Ari from Entourage.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to hear about, it's been since 19 whatever, since they won. So, I mean,
Yeah. All right, we better wrap this up, I guess. My wife's calling again.
Okay.
Anything you want to get off your chest? Football?
No, 10-1 in the last 11
you're making
picks.
some good picks. You're making some
two
good picks. 2
undefeated weeks, a 3-1 week this past week, so...
Yeah, we got to start catching up with money for you. He's
Good
making some, again, PM&S.com, Bill Rowland, betting the NFL week, whatever. Bill's come 14-5. Is that right?
14 and 5 overall.
With the spread.
2 undefeated weeks. 4
2
0 in
undefeated
week 1,
weeks.
7 0 in week 3.
Yeah. Now, if I were a real gambler, and I'm certainly not, the lines would be a little different on the weekend. So I'm not doing as badly if I was a real gambler,
Right.
as I am on Thursday
Sure.
nights. But I need to really step up my game. I've had some tough luck though. Like I think it was what was it? The Steelers game when it was -3. That spread landed on it.
It's a push, and you guys both missed the over/under by 2 points. In
Yeah,
Chicago.
some of those over/unders are brutal. I'll tell you what, I live on the over and unders with my picks, and because I love those games that are like the Panthers on the grass field. I love the unders on those games. They've been kind of cruel mistresses in the fourth quarter for me lately, but that's part of the game. And of course, we don't gamble. This is all fake money on the internet. But take a look at Bill's picks. He might have something here. He may have, you may be touching the face of God. I don't know what he may have. We'll see. I don't know. He may have a sports almanac from Back to the Future Part 2. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thank you for listening to us again. This is Chris Jolly. This is Bill Rowland. This is the PM&S.com podcast. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.